The other thing is questioning you on your own private property. Federal case law says very specifically that is considered a Fourth Amendment violation of seizure. By
it should be either on your own personal property or if your child's even in school. It's still a violation of Fourth Amendment.
Yeah. They have to have permission from the parents. And they're doing this all illegally. And they just don't care. And they come at you, and how they come at you is through, I'm from the state. Well, it's been ingrained in us. Well, I go back a little bit farther, but I'm sure you remember this. Even in public schools where they brought in officer friendly. Trust the police. Trust the government.
Right.
Trust this. All this has been programmed into you since a child. And they have abused this. So you
couldn't be further from the truth, guys.
You would figure somebody that was in that position was trained properly to follow the law and the Constitution and do their job. But they don't, because their number one drive is cash and kids. Do you know how much money you get for a kid, let alone to put them in foster care? How many parents go for foster care? I want to be a foster home. Well, we need to do a home inspection. Got a warrant? Nobody ever thinks about that. Well, we need to come back this time and do, a walkthrough of your house. That good. Get a court order, a warrant that's specific for that with a date, a time, and exactly what you're going to do. That's a proper warrant or court order. A vague one that's open is not a legitimate court order. They cannot leave it wide open to do what they want to do. The Constitution guarantees this, as well as federal law. They have to follow this.
So when we're talking about sedition, when we're talking about treason, every single state, in my opening statement in the beginning of the show, was every single state is involved in this. How? Well, they're actually printing it in their manuals. So if we go back to the referenced document that we had, this is your Civil Rights Handbook in Tennessee. Tennessee, in 2016, as you can see here, published this. The state itself published their own acts of treason. They're specifically training their state agents, CPS, to directly violate your constitutionally protected rights on a massive scale. And it's not just Tennessee. It's Texas. It's Florida. It's Wyoming. It's Montana. It's whatever state you live in has been doing it. And we've collected the evidence.
And it's not just in their handbooks. It's found in their policies and procedures that is made public by, the Freedom of Information Act. They have to publish it. Doesn't mean how many people went to look for it. Well, I can't find it. Because they bury it.
They bury it.
They have to make it easy. I couldn't even begin to tell you the hours I went searching for some states just to find stuff. But once I found it, it was all there, and they're all blatant. We have a right to do this, or they've even passed laws in some states allowing them to do this, or special exemptions that violate the Constitution. That's right. There are codes and regulations, or laws, what they call them, on your state that are unconstitutional, and they don't care. Because when they do get caught, let me tell you how this works. You'll love this one, because it's all about the money. You find them and you catch them, then they'll take and put you in mediation. They'll give you a big settlement, but then you're going to sign something called a non-disclosure agreement. That means you cannot reveal anything you have discovered or anything in your case and anything in the future. That means they can continue to do what they were doing like business as usual and have paid you off. But the amount of money they have paid you off.
Guess what, people? You have a right to contract or not to contract. What does that mean? They cannot force you to sign an NDA.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you?
People are tired. The whole point of this is to wear you down. I will tell you now, from talking to families, husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, they're exhausted because the state has beat them up so bad in all these corrupt courts, and they just don't understand this ain't right, but I've got nowhere to turn, because they don't have, they're not stupid. They just lack the information and education to do what is right. Hey, how's that public school working out for you? Because they sure didn't teach that.
Right.
Wasn't that the point?
They don't even teach the Bill of Rights in schools anymore.
Nope. You know why? Because it was found under, I can't remember the name of it, but one of the big industrialists that was out there come out and said, I would much rather have a better worker than a better citizen. And those are the founders of public school systems, people.
Oh, the Rockefellers.
Rockefellers,
yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Who do you think put that in there? They don't want you to think for yourselves and truly be free or have anything. They want a good worker they can control and get cheap labor out of to produce their products so they can get rich.
But see, this is why they want to get rid of social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these other kind of stuff, because they didn't realize, they weren't planning on the fact that the American people would start organizing and speaking about these things. And that I made a video the other day where that was specifically talking about people need to start standing up and using their voice, because their voice is their power. Their voice is what spreads the truth. And it'll shine a light on who you are meant to be. Like, I use my voice on a daily basis. Why? Because I'm able to do so because I'm not afraid to speak. I'm not afraid of landing on, somebody's hit list or being canceled or whatever it might be, right? I am completely dedicated to the cause of bringing down CPS, and I'm not afraid of it. And that's very powerful.
One of my core beliefs, especially, is one of our founding fathers that said, the only thing for evil to accomplish its goal is for good people to do nothing.
To do nothing, right?
And we have to understand, people have misquoted this other one too, a lot of times, is that every once in a while, the tree of liberty needs to be refreshed with the blood of patriots and tyrants. We've got to be willing to sacrifice something, put it on the line. Whatever that may mean. You want my life, you can have it. I give it up freely. If that means children can get free and families get free. Come for me. But here's the problem that you're going to have. This information has already spread, and it's already here in the United States. It's to the authorities. It's even out of the country with all this. So a lot of you are going to listen to this and say, well, what's this got to do with me? We have the evidence. We need the victims. We need the people that this has happened to. Now, we're going to keep it in a narrow lane because of what it is. I know you have a story, but we need to keep it down to, they entered my home without a warrant. They questioned me on my private property, and or I had a trial without a jury. Those simple things. If that has happened to you, that's what we need. Okay, guys, Dallas is going to put up on the screen a basic format that you need to take and fill out just on your computer, and you need to send it 2 places. Now, here's the reason why. One, you'll see on there is expo.cps.tn. That information right there will take and go directly towards the Army CID for treason charges. This is the criminal aspect, not the civil aspect. The second is going to be to Special Agent Michael, I hope I say it right, Biondo at the FBI. He is the agent that has all the information. He is working with the DOJ. He is heading up this investigation. But there's plenty of evidence that this is definitely what it is, but we need victims. We need people this has happened to show them it is on the scale that it is, that yes, we have been taken in. Our elected and appointed officials have turned on us. Those actors have turned on us and taking from us and violating our rights while they stand by, collecting and smiling their butts off and just laughing and keeping you poor and keeping you under their thumb and making you question everything. You wonder why you're so unhappy, why you're so miserable. You want to change your life and everything that's going on. This is how we do it. Why? Let's get to the real simple point. Once this goes through, let's cover what that's going to do. And excuse the dogs in the background. But what this does with treason and sedition, if you'll notice, Dallas, pull back up, if you wouldn't care, the Tennessee handbook. And if you'll notice the date on that, that says December 2016. That is evidence that when that was printed, December of 2016, is when their treason and sedition began, when it was printed. And
that's
it was
just from when they printed it. Who knows what they were doing before that even happened?
That's somebody else's ball of wax. Or we're only going up to this point. Now, if somebody else has something before that that can prove something otherwise, we'd love to have that information. Trust me. The big thing on this is now what that means is since December of 2016, the state of Tennessee has been actively involved in treason and sedition against the people and residents of Tennessee. That means a couple things. Now, understand that's over 4 years old. And every state is over 4 years old for their treason and sedition, which means they can't legally cast an electoral ballot anywhere for a president or executive branch or anything, including the people that were elected. It's null and void. You can't cast because you're committing a crime. Therefore, you're not part of the Constitution when you're going against it. That means your executive branch is empty. It has to be filled because they can't. All the case law, all the cases they've heard, both criminal and civil, now have to be overturned. All those people are going to be set free. Not my fault. They're the ones that did it. That means your murderers, rapists, child molesters, all those people now have to go free because your state was not legitimate and within the Constitution to follow it. They were committing a crime themselves.